Well, I think that's us live. Hi there, Linda. How you doing?
Fine. How are you, Paul?
Not too bad, not too bad. I thought we would swipe everybody and confuse them all by coming over here rather than over there where I was before. But the problem was, unfortunately, I had to back up and reboot my computer. iTunes was saying it was like 3 weeks since my last update and it needed it. So then I lost my StreamYard link, so everything had to be reset.
Yeah,
but anyway, we're getting there. We're getting there.
It's all a process.
So yeah, I must admit I have got the Dicky bow on today for the Erakozy challenge. If I wear the Dicky bow, he has to wear his kilt. Fair enough.
I love that myself.
Yeah.
The dude's got not such bad looking legs, really. He's got to do something with the top, though. And get some of those. You got to show him how to wear it.
Yes,
yes.
He's got to get the all the attachments, shall we say? All the other toys to go with the kilt.
Well, he's inserted himself. He's inserted himself in the Scottish a lot lately, hasn't he? So he should be wearing the outfits.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I mean, if he is that keen on supporting Scottish independence, he needs to wear the kilt again.
I agree.
He needs to show his support, and what he needs, well, for one thing, he'll need a skiing do.
Whoa, there you go. Is that for Glasgow?
That is ready for Glasgow, yeah, the stabby capital of the world. This is a skiing do, and what it does is you put it down your sock. You get a special, you have to get special white socks or black socks. Mm-hmm. To be honest, when people wear the black socks with the kilt, it looks like schoolgirls going to a posh school. So I would definitely suggest the white socks, dude. I would suggest you get some nice white socks to go with your kilt. Get a skiing do, and definitely you want to get a sporran. And a sporran is the big purse you put at the front.
Oh yeah, the little
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's very, very important.
Yeah, and has to. Well, I don't know what he wore on top last time. I can just remember it didn't look like it all went together. So,
well, you got a nice white shirt. He'd got the tie that I'd sent him, and he'd got a different tartan of obviously kilt, but that was fine. That's fine. Yeah. You can advertise your different tartans, but what you can't do is stand there looking like a girl because you've not got the sporran and the belt.
Your hands on your hips like this.
And the thing is, it was partly my fault because I never checked that he was getting all the other stuff. He said he's getting kilt. I assumed that he was going to get all the other stuff, but no, he hadn't. So that was, I suppose it was both of our faults. I mean, in actual fact, you know how it all came about. It was the fact that there's a terrible admin called Sinister Smurf. Have you come across her before?
No.
Tiffany Harpin. Oh, gee whiz. She's a terrible one. It was her that when I did my very first video, she commented on the fact that she was very, very disappointed that I was not wearing the bow tie because that's what my profile picture is, Yeah. And I got back to her and I said, well, I will wear. She called it the tux, the tuxedo, the bow tie. If Erakozy wears his kilt. And so what he did was he did wear his kilt, and I've got the photographic evidence to prove it.
Yeah.
And ladies, if you ever want to lose weight and you want a nice new fridge magnet to scare you off the fridge, just get this put on a fridge magnet because this is scary. So anyway, he wore the kilt completely unknown to me that he didn't have, as I say, all the accoutrements that you need to add to. He literally got a skirt and a tie. And a shirt. And when I saw him do, because I never got to check that he'd got all this stuff. He just posted this video, and it was like, what, dude? You can't wear that. You look like a, dare I say, you look like a schoolgirl. You've got to have some of that. I mean, in fairness, Eric Ozee would pass as a Scotsman, no trouble with nay bother with like he could wear his t-shirt. If he only wore his kilt with a nice wide belt. And then you could wear anything. You could even wear boots, and some of the modern sort of ways of wearing the kilt is very hip, very modern.
I've seen him with the biker boots.
With
the short boots, and I think he lives in California, so yeah, he should be able to find anything he needs there, right?
Well, yeah.
Place of, he should get everything he needs, dress it all up, and wear it.
Absolutely.
And while you wear your bow tie. I just think that's the best idea ever. I don't know who wouldn't. Him, probably, right?
Well, you see, the reason for him wearing the kilt was it was kind of like a challenge. Me with the bow tie, him with the kilt, and it was to say, look, if we're prepared to dress up a little to do a video, how about some of you people out there that are tuning in and listening? At that time, mainly, I would say that the main three channels that we had on the go back then were Eric Ozee, Perplex Cutie, under the name of she went under Laura, didn't she?
Perplex Cutie, was it?
It was Perplex Cutie, but before that, it was Laura.
Laura Heck.
Yeah, but she also had another name for her channel, and then there was Mama Phoenix, which is obviously Casey Martin, and Casey Oliver now, and they were the three main ones that you tuned into, and one of the things that we were really keen to do was to get new people involved. We laid a challenge out. We said, send us your video, post a video. Well, do you know who posted a video?
No,
Mark Hoddenut.
Really?
Yeah, he was one of the three that posted a video, and ever since then we've been huge friends. To the extent where we're hanging out in Australia for a week. And I once said to him, I said, dude, how many times would you be willing to wear the kilt if every time you wore the kilt you got that kind of response? If only three people, if only three people come across, if only three people do a video, at least you're going to have, if you're going to have, somebody like Mark or, I'll give you a few other examples. Yes, Jay, you mentioned Rubber Ducky. Yeah, I've been on Rubber Ducky's channel, and Rubber Ducky's been over here. So yeah, we know Rubber Ducky well. But then there's other people that have started up, likes of Linda Kay Listening, and Andrew and Millbilly, and so basically, let's fast forward. Can you remember between April the 26th and 28th of last year what happened?
That was Mammoth-on.
Yeah.
Because I started my channel.
Can you remember? Because it's just a daze to me. It's just a complete daze.
Oh, yeah, it's just like a blink,
Yeah.
A lot has happened since then. I mean, I started my channel just before it started, like just a couple days. And I'm one away from 800 now. I'm really happy.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I like and it goes on and on and on, and people keep jumping on the train, and everybody's we're getting people involved. I love it.
Yep. I'm just going to quickly read you the if you like. This was kind of like our sort of joint press release just after Mammoth-on, and this is what we kind of sort of agreed between us, was that it titled press release Mammoth-on 2019 live YouTube event featuring news and discussion about the Netflix documentary Making a Murderer. This spectacular live YouTube event, which took place over the weekend of April 26th to 28th, was the brainchild of Tracy Strunsey. It was her that actually had the idea. Yeah.
And she got it from
YouTube channel, basically a lawyer, following inspiration from Ali Apperson. I don't know if you remember, but at the time, Ali was going live for 8 hours.
Yeah, me, Ali, Denise, and Tracy went live, and that's when she got the idea.
Yeah, mad. You're mad. And they invited the black belt. He loves that title.
Yeah.
The black belt. Well, he should get that bloody black belt and add it to his kilt. It would look far better. The black belt of Making a Murderer MAM YouTubers Eric Ose on MAM and his, I like this, longtime sparring partner, myself from Scotland, to join them. So it then carried on. It said for 48 hours, they took turns in hosting alternate 4-hour live chats with their invited guests. And I must admit, Ali was an absolute godsend. A couple of times I was only able to do 3 hours, and she would do like 5.
Yeah.
And it was she was really good, and she sorted me out with admins or mods or whatever you call them. It was her that sort of said, "Okay, here we go. I'll make
you need some. Yep, you need some wrenches."
Yeah. Well, anyway. So anyway, here's the full list of guests, moderators, and hosts. Are you ready for this?
Go ahead.
This is Mammoth-on participants in alphabetical order. Ali Apperson, Andrew Newton. I'm trying to think. Andrew Newton?
A guest?
I'm trying. Yeah. Ashley Strunsey. That was
Tracy's daughter.
Brandon Maddox.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, we even managed to get Carla Chase.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got Chad Keller, Courtney Skinner, Denise Rainey, Eric Ose. Now I've put down Falcon Aponda because he was really helpful in getting everything set up.
Yep. He designed the logo and the promo and Yep. And he's a guilter.
Sorry?
And he's a guilter.
He says he is, but he's not
respectful. Really. He's a good guy. He's respectful. He knows Brendan shouldn't be there, but Steve, he's not sure of. So he says maybe he's changed his mind. He's been to California a couple times there with the banner movement. So we don't know. Maybe we are, getting him to flip. So we had where did I get to? Falcon T1.
Yeah.
There's T1. He's out in your chat.
Oh, no, now then we had Henbury.
Who?
Henbury.
Oh God, yeah.
He was right at the end of Eric Ose's chat. Yep, Jamie Hart, who I believe goes under Sam William Henry.
Henry 582.
Yeah,
that's our buddy.
Somebody called Jane Sharp. Do you know who Jane Sharp is?
I'm going to meet her tomorrow. I love Jane.
What's Jane been up to? What's Jane been getting up to? And I don't mean the forthcoming court appearance. I mean, what's she been up to? Making a murder wife.
Well, Making a Murder Wife. She just went and seen Jerry Buting. So we are going to talk about it tomorrow. I can't wait to get all the details. And because we're women, we'll get all the details.
Well,
an advantage.
Yes, yeah. I think it's I think it's good to go along and see these guys because when you even though we went right in Australia, even though we went to see obviously Steve Drism, Laura Nyrider, and David Rudolph
I would love to see him.
On the Thursday, right, at the Enmore Theatre. And that was brilliant, by the way. What was really good about it was the fact we had the banner there and the number of people coming out. And we could photograph everybody, but it was absolutely brilliant. The number of people that wanted to, that were interested in the fact that we had the banner and, take photographs of it, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then we went to Melbourne, and it was a completely different. It was a completely different show. But what I really, really liked about Jerry Butin on his recent tour is the fact that it's just him talking, and it's uninterrupted. It's him presenting everything about the case, and he's presenting it from the point of view that there'll be people there that maybe they don't know too much about making a murderer. But it goes into great detail. Anyway, I'm sure. I messaged Jane earlier. She said she had a great time. So, moving on, Jennifer Fenn Lanham.
That's Fenn.
Yeah. J Jax 61.
I love J Jax. Great researcher.
Yeah. Well, next on the list, John Farrak.
Yes. Talk about that. Yes.
Yeah.
We got some good people. Gosh.
Well,
Gosh, you remembered all this. That's good, as I didn't remember some of them already.
Well, as I say, this was kind of like a press release that we did. I've just recently sent it to Emily Matasic because I don't think she would have known about it. But it's nice to let them know,
Sure is. I like that.
Yeah.
I love the way you think about these things. You just bring this stuff out that really nobody even really thinks of. I'm like, who would have thought about talking to the reporters? Who would have thought about digging in that far and getting all Kratz's crap out? I mean, everybody knows about it, but you put it in sequence. I think it's brilliant. I love it. I like the things you're bringing to the table a lot.
Well, I wanted, for me, I do keep going on about the fact that for me, I think that although there's certain restrictions for journalists in Wisconsin, I think that there's still room for the John Farrak type characters over there, and I just wish that at times that the reporters would be more honest with their audience and just say, look, Kratz is saying this, but he's got absolutely nothing to back it up, and what they're really trying to do. What would be really good is if the journalists would come out and say, look, the state are asking us to say this as if we're some sort of propaganda machine for them. Mm-hmm. But it's time we told you the truth about this, But anyway, moving on. After John Farrak, Julie Pompom.
Yeah, that's Julie.
Jinxie.
Love Jinxie.
Yeah. Well, now what have we got under L? Oh yes, Linda Kay listening. Lisa Stokowski.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mama Phoenix. Mark Hodinett. Michael Piccini. Myself, Perplex Cutie.
Michael, what was it? Michael Piccini?
He's written a book.
He wrote a book. We just read it over there in Fall Play. Read it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yep. Perplex Cutie. Razor. Now, somebody called Reporting Live from My Sofa.
Yeah, I remember him. Yes, he was great, Paul.
Yeah. Ripper Jack.
Ripper
Jack Gaming.
I love Ripper Jack. He's great. Wasn't he like one of the first that did videos and Eric Cozy? He encouraged Eric Cozy to do them. Yeah. So see, it keeps on going. Yeah, I love it.
Yep. We've got Roll Griffin. 7 Pairs of Panties. Sandra Greenman.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Somebody called Stacy Seabrook.
I think I know him.
Stefan Climb Runner. Yeah. Stefan Climb Runner. We even had somebody called Stephen Avery Sr. because he did a little phone message that was recorded so that we had
a thank you. Yeah.
Taylor Strunsey. TikTok Manitowoc.
There you go.
Tracy Strunsey, of course. Tracy Keogh, the Aussie.
Yeah,
Tracy
from
Keogh.
Australia.
Yeah.
Biggest Brendan supporter I've ever seen.
Do you know she's very much my go-to if I've got a question about Brendan,
She's got a beautiful website for him too. It's just absolutely it's very well done.
Yep. And Walter Travis Williamson.
Yep. Our go-to lawyer.
Yeah.
So Walter, I don't know why you call him Walter. Isn't that little sheep or something?
No,
that's somebody else. Something else.
No, it's because of the Big Lebowski.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So Eric Cozy is the dude, and Travis is Walter. His pal. And then I get called stuff like Donnie and Smokey. They're two characters from the Big Lebowski. So, but anyway. So that was a list of all the people that were involved in Mammoth-on last year, and I can't help thinking that this year, well, in terms of hosting, we've got a whole lot of new channels out there. I must admit, when we did Mammoth-on the first time, I actually apologized. I sent an apology to Rubber Ducky because I said, look, I'm really sorry. I didn't realize that nobody had actually thought to invite you on. And she said, well, that's fine. But hopefully this time we'll get Rubber Ducky. But then when you think of all the other people, as you say yourself, you'd been going a couple of days. So, I'm just thinking of all the people that can that can take over and do,
you only have to do an hour.
Exactly. Yeah. So you've got Millbilly, you've got, as I say, Foul Play, and you've got
Andrew.
Who?
Andrew Whitehead. Andrew Whitehead.
Who's Andrew Whitehead?
He's a really new and happening. He's pretty good. You got to check him out.
Why is that?
Oh, there he is. Wow, I was like, why is he doing this to me? I don't know, but okay. Not fair.
How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Not bad. We were just running through all the different all the different people that contributed to a thing called Mammoth-on last year. So hopefully we're going to do the same this year, and just to make it a really big event.
Right.
With
I missed it last year, but hopefully
you'll be in it this year.
Well, I don't know about all that, but that's fine. Will. But hopefully, y'all have it. I'm gonna get dragged into it.
Yeah, you will. You'll have to relieve some of us, because these guys were doing. How long were you doing? Like 4 and 5 hours.
Yeah, 4
Allie did 5. Live streaming. That's a lot of work. To be talking about things and having guests. It is a lot of work. Yeah. That's, so hey, you'll have to relieve just like me. I don't mind. I had only started my channel like 2 days before it even happened. I would have never went on then, never.
Yeah, but the thing is that the dude can talk so much that he should really do half of it himself. because what happened was at the very end, he was actually pressed for time. He ran out of time. And he had to cut his last guest short, who I believe was Henry, and he just had to move on because he wanted to get finished by a certain time. And it's like, well, why? And anyway, hopefully we'll have enough time to get everybody fitted in. So I'm gonna pop these on so I can hear you better because it gets.
I don't need them. I don't have a place to even put them.
There we go. So anyway, Andrew, where have you been tonight?
I was recording.
Tell us about your podcast.
Look at you guys all dressed up, and here I am in a sweatshirt.
Hey, that's fine. Mr. Paul, his swagger wore off on me. He's then got me wearing ties and everything.
You'll be wearing a kilt soon.
No, it's just I suppose it's just one of those things I've always done. I remember when I first competed in a music festival, playing the accordion, and my dad took me to one of these gents outfitters when I was about 8 years old and got me fitted out for this three-piece suit, and it was made of blue corduroy, a dark blue corduroy suit. And oh my God, I really looked the part, I mean, I couldn't play to save my life back then, like properly played, but at least I looked the part, and it's just, it's just one of those things. And you wait till you see Eric Cozy in his kilt. That is something to behold. That is a sight for sore eyes. That is, basically, Andrew, and I would put it this way: the sights you see when you've not got a gun in your hand. And I'm sure you know what I mean.
That's funny.
So anyway, sorry, Andrew. Give us a quick rundown of what you've been up to, then chatting about on the podcast.
Christy said she'll pay money.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I was offered about $50 if I put the kilt on, but I've not got a kilt, so it didn't happen. Sorry, Andrew.
I don't know.
Andrew, we're not gonna interrupt you.
We was just we was doing a podcast on Item FL, and just covering everything possible, that you could talk about Item FL, and so that was very interesting. And
well, hold on a sec. Let's just back up a minute, because you've actually gone an extra mile and actually done a few videos about firing bullets,
right?
And sort of done a bit more research into, shall we call it, the ballistic side of things?
Yeah,
and what happens with bullets?
Yeah. Well, I was just fascinated, that they claim these bullets was shot through Teresa Halbach, and some of the state's theories even claim that 22 caliber bullet was shot through her head. And I've always been skeptical of that theory and that could even be possible. And then when season 2 come out and they was talking about the wood and stuff embedded in the bullet, I said, well, I own a 22 rifle among many other guns. I said, I want to go see if I can replicate Item FL. And sure enough, it took me quite a few tries to get the right combination of, because finding something to shoot it through similar to what Steven's garage is made out of wasn't the challenge. Finding something to stop the bullet without damaging it was the challenge. And eventually I got it to work with an old pillow. And after shooting it through the wood, it got captured in an old pillow. And sure enough, the bottom side of the bullet, not the color, because the bullet, Item FL looked corroded and stained, but as far as shape and even getting wood embedded in the bullet, I mean, it was identical. It was actually striking to me that I got so close just through a backyard, uncontrolled experiment.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. I mean, I've never seen anybody do a video like that. I mean, I've seen the burn pit, or the burn, because Ripper Jax did that. And yeah, that was really a good video. Really good. And everything you said is just like so much of what I believe too. And a lot of other people, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that they present. Well, Brendan's confession goes from being shot once to being shot twice to being shot 10 times, and it's like, well, where are all these other bullets? If people are saying that she was shot multiple times, I mean, according to the Eisenberg, you've got these what looks like 2 possible bullet wounds. Although, is it not a case that the guy Scott Palanek wants to have a look at those skull fragments under his microscope? Because I'm just wondering if he's going to suggest that in fact it's not a bullet that's caused that; it's actually been a sharp but blunt object that's done that. Because you've got this blood spatter on the back of the RAV4, which when you I've been listening to that stuff by Nick Stelke, and he talks about the fact that they're very coy in what they do in the trial. They say. They asked Nick Stelke, would that be consistent with a body being put into the back of the RAV4? But then later on, you've got Ken Kratz with all his theatrics saying, that our expert demonstrated to you, proved to you how that splatter was, and he calls it splatter, by the way, dude. So I'm not the only one that gets it wrong. This splatter was caused by the body being flung into the back, and it's as if you could pick up somebody like in both hands and just chuck them in, as if you were like passing a football,
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to. Even the size of Teresa Halbach and Stephen Avery looks, even though he's kind of short, he looks to be pretty stocky, pretty strong. You're not going to be able to generate the velocity. Exactly. Throwing that body into that car like that. So, and it's inconsistent. It's not horizontal, and you don't have to be an expert to see that. If you're claiming that, you're going to have horizontal blood patterns, and it's not. It's circular, and it's cast off. If you do any sort of research, which we all have, that's cast off blood splatter.
Yeah. It's just amazing, the fact that, and that was for Chad. That was he put that he's invisible. Well, I don't think he's invisible at all. But anyway, exactly, Mary. No, you're not invisible, Chad. We can see you. We can see you now. Chad, just behave yourself, okay? But no, when I watched Making a Murderer, I was shouting at the TV. Where's the experts that are going to come along and explain everything, and sort of show how things happen? I suppose I'm one of these. I'm used to the sort of Inspector Morse, Hercule Poirot, these sort of detective programs where something that's quite mysterious is then solved. And I was waiting for the experts to come along and say, no, this is what happened.
All right.
So I mean, no, I think it's great that we're getting, as you say, you with your video about the bullet. Also, I might just add that me and the dude are being joined with Magilla 39 for the next part of his presentation about,
that was great.
all the dog tracks and how the dogs followed certain paths. It was all to do with the fact that people who had been in Teresa's house had got that scent, because it wouldn't be Teresa, because the time was, well, she wasn't there, but also that the time that takes for her scent to have died down was well over. But when you go to the house, it's clear how these certain tracks were being made. So Andrew, you've heard about Mammoth-on.
I've heard about it, yes, sir. But like I said, unfortunately, I wasn't able to be a part or watch of any last year. Do y'all have dates set for 2020?
Not yet.
I think the dude was saying, he was talking about it being the same weekend, like in effect the last weekend in April would be well, it might be too far in the distance. Maybe we could do it sooner, but the one advantage of that is the fact that if the state filed their brief on the 27th of March, that would give us exactly 1 month to digest it. Although I'm not expecting a stunningly long explanation, because I don't see how they can come up with much of an explanation. I mean, when you this Lisa Comfer, I believe her name is, the the new Assistant Attorney General that's replaced Fallon. You know,
Wow.
when you look at their response to the CD and the Bones, it was so pathetic. You could tell that Paul Riley, that the judge in the appeals court, was pretty dismissive, wasn't it? It was pretty condescending. The way he was talking back to this Lisa Comfer. Can you remember all that? No, the case was obviously remanded twice by. So Paul Riley is one of the four judges in the appeals court of the second district. That's the ones that are going to be looking at this.
Right.
The second district covers, I believe, Sheboygan, Manitowoc, Two Rivers, that kind of sort of, on the banks.
Calumet County, yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the whole crooked, dirty, corrupt part of Wisconsin.
Yeah, but your four judges. We don't know who, because it was Chad that was telling me this about the fact that Brian Hagedorn was one of the judges, but he's now at Supreme Court. And two of those went for a vote. Two of the people in the District 2, this was last year, the year before, they tried to become Supreme Court judges. Brian Hagedorn won, but he was competing against Lisa Neubauer, who's one of the other judges in the District 2. Now, you'll never guess who one of the other judges is. It's Mark Gundrum.
Yeah, yeah.
He's one of the other judges.
Didn't he recluse himself from the?
Well, I don't think he's done anything yet, because at the moment I think it's up to this Judge Riley. I think at the moment everything that comes before the Court of Appeals for the second district in Wisconsin, that gets adjudicated by just one person. But then, obviously, if they decide that they're going to do something about it, then I believe it becomes the full sort of the evidence you're hearing would be potentially in front of the four judges. But of course, whether Mark Gundrum's involved, I mean, look, we're talking about Wisconsin. I mean, I think sometimes they just pay lip service to this conflict of interest. And unless somebody has zero conflict of interest, in which case then you can bar them like the coroner, can't you?
I don't think Manitowoc or anything over there knows conflict of interest. But if the ones with some, conscience, I hope they do. I hope they will, do the right thing.
Yeah, I think, Andrew, that it seems to be like a selective thing, doesn't it? That they use the conflict of interest when it suits them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then just ignore it when it doesn't suit them. I think that's what's going on there. Andrew, have you got any plans for what you want to do next, video wise? Have you got any things that you're sort of? I can imagine you're sort of going through Making a Murder and thinking of things, from your angle that you think, well,
yeah,
this doesn't make sense.
That's exactly what I'm doing. Anything hands-on that I can do for myself. I've had suggestions from people that wanted me to do different blood experiments, and it sounded like they wanted me to cut my finger to run the experiments, but I don't know about all that. And I wanted to cover cell phones, and I started looking into it. I'm not sure if I'm still going to do it because it's so much gray area with the technology in 2005 compared to now. But I have researched into the cell phone situation and a couple of other topics. But I really like doing the forensic side of things. And right now I'm really just kind of doing whatever comes to mind, and I'm really trying to read through all of the case files, and I find interesting stuff in there every time I start reading. So kind of a little bit of everything, really.
I mean, absolutely. It's, even just watching episodes of Making a Murder, you come across things and you think, of course, I'd forgotten about that, and it's like sometimes it's like you put the dots together, and then suddenly it's like a eureka moment when you think, now I can see where this is coming from, But anyway, so Andrew, you're busy thinking about Making a Murderer. Linda, what did you think of the Super Bowl?
I wouldn't know because I didn't watch it. Wasn't on in my house, but let's just put it this way. Hallelujah, they won after 50 years.
I couldn't believe it.
It's okay.
I mean, 10 points down and they end up winning, as I was saying last night. I'm
surprised, really. I really am surprised because 49ers are good, so I am surprised.
Well, they used to be very good, didn't they? They used to be the best team, But then I think I'm sure the Packers had one or two successes, I'm sure that Brett Favre had one or two good games before he decided to defect to the Vikings, but.
Anyway, he didn't do us any favors, so let's just keep that out of the mix.
Yeah.
He didn't do shit for us. Maybe we'll be the next ones to win the Super Bowl, because we've been there, I don't know, 13 times.
Well,
14 times, I think. Number one.
I think 4 times. I think
I don't know how many times. It seems like 14, 15, 20 to me. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing
I get into football when they're in it, but otherwise.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. It's if it's not, if your team's winning, then all well and good. But that's why I haven't heard anything at all from Eric Jose about American football or baseball because his teams have been absolutely diabolical this year. He's
I
never
just go for the winning team. Who cares where I'm from? I want to pick the winners. Forget it. So Kansas, yeah, right on.
Yeah. So, and any thoughts? Sorry, ladies first, Linda. And any thoughts on what you think the Lisa Comfer in the form of the Assistant Attorney General is going to try and present? I mean, she's asked for this extra 45 days. I mean, what do you think she's going to?
I don't know. I'd like to do something, find out what she's all about, kind of research her a little bit and see what it's all about because I guess I don't blame her for having an extension if she's new to the case and she doesn't, she really wants to give it a read. Maybe she'll do some good. We don't know. I mean, maybe she'll really read it and say, hey, well, I can't say nothing against it, so.
Is it a possibility that she might simply be procrastinating?
Well, that's my first thought, of course, because I just don't see how they can keep on stopping Zellner from having an evidentiary hearing. I do not understand it. There's too much there. I think they're just trying to take as long as they can just to make them suffer, come up with something. I don't know.
Andrew, do you think it's a case of they just want it to go away and they're just hoping?
No. Well, I mean, yeah, they definitely want it to go away, but I don't think that's what is the reason for the delay. I think if you have something as big as item, and we can use this for a perfect example, something as big as item FL, the state and claim that this is the cause of death, in a sense.
Let me interrupt you for a second. Kretz claims he did not say that.
Yeah, I know he claims that, but
yeah, okay.
So Zellner has proven now that cannot be the case. So I think in my opinion, and the court documents and the filings and extensions, all that, I listen to it, but I don't pay as much attention to some of the other things that I like to research on. But I personally, just in my own opinion, not having looked into it too much, I just think that they are literally scrambling to try to find ways to refute what Zellner has come out with now in her motions and try to find a way to explain the inconsistencies that she's brought to the light now. I mean, but that's just my opinion.
How can you explain giving back biological evidence though in your own law? So that right there, that's got to be, the biggest thing I would think that she has,
Right.
Yeah, just going back to the item FL, of course, we have the expert who testifies under oath that, as far as he was concerned, the bullet through the head caused the death. And Dean Strang kind of queries on this, how can you be sure that it was the bullet? How can you be sure? Because if all you've got to go by is cremains, you really don't have any way of proving how the murder was carried out, do you? But as is it Kurt, Zellner's assistant, points out, as they're traveling to Manitowoc, the state only presented one bullet.
Right.
They presented item FL, and they did not present any other bullets. And if they're trying to say, well, Brendan, he goes along with this 10 times shot because they found 10 shell casings. But of course, we know the reason why there's 10, probably more than 10 shell casings, is because Stephen Avery used to pick them up, put them in the garage, because when he went around with a strimmer, if they were in the grass, these shell casings were being fired off, like almost like bullets themselves,
Yeah.
So, Ken Kratz, it's a funny thing, this, isn't it? It was Laura Riccardi and Moira Demos that in a statement they said, that Ken Kratz is entitled to his own opinion, but he's not entitled to his own facts. He can present as many opinions as he likes, and let's face it. The bottom line is, I'm sorry, Wisconsin, but if you're accepting as fact information given to you, fed to you by the likes of Ken Kratz, you really are in a pretty dire place, because to accept anything that he says beggars belief. He's just a complete discredit. But I would say to the human race.
Right on, Paul.
He's right just on. I mean,
I don't know. He sleeps at night.
I know how he sleeps.
He sleeps in a bed.
He sleeps in a bed like everybody else.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's like
with his eyes open.
Yeah. If he was to apply some of his, his shall we say his active mind. I mean this whole idea of pretending that the computer is Brendan's and hoodwinking Dean and Jerry into thinking, well, we've got nothing to worry about there then, because Brendan's CD comes, Brendan's computer had nothing of evidentiary value, and then 12 years later, the CD that's been kept in Tom Fassbender's possession gets handed over.
Don't you wonder what else could be in his possession? Like maybe that voicemail that everybody's talking about since Jacobs just passed away. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I wonder what they keep in their drawers. Personal. What is that? I mean, that's got to be something. Isn't that messing with an investigation or something? I mean, you hear about it on TV all the time. They get years for these things. Are they going to be, as Top Fassbender just going to be able to walk away from this? That's how Wisconsin handles it. That kind of stuff makes me mad.
He should have got a new. As soon as that was discovered, I mean, that's grounds for a new trial.
Yeah.
Suppressing evidence.
Yeah,
and
I would think so.
Keeping it from the defense.
Yeah, I think the I don't think we can hide from the fact that this is all political. It's all a political issue. You've got if you look at the whole of the sexting scandal, you've got one side of the DOJ that are definitely not happy with what Ken Kratz has been up to, but you've got the other side of the DOJ for whom Ken Kratz has been this this wonderful prosecutor who secured the conviction of Stephen Brendan. So you've got the two parts of the DOJ. They're sort of competing against one another, possibly on political lines. You know, and so you get the same all the way down the line with you know, there possibly are some people in Wisconsin that would like to see this case resolved, but then you've got others that are quite happy with the status quo, and I think
don't give a shit at all.
Well, I'm going to say I think you've probably got some of them that are of the opinion that you know, if Stephen Brendan didn't do that, then, you know, they're probably guilty of lots of other things, and the family's not that good. You know, and he cremated a cat, and, you know, it's the Averys, and they want to salvage art, so they can't be that good. And, you know,
yeah.
Who, as you say, who cares anyway? Well, you know, that's not how we like to be, because it's just
if you're and I've said that many times to certain people. And when they mention, you know, I've never said Stephen Avery was an upstanding citizen. If all of these things you can prove are, you know, if you could prove that he did all of these other things that you are saying, then I agree he should be locked up for those reasons.
Right.
But I do not agree that he should be locked up for a murder that he didn't commit.
Yeah,
I mean, so,
absolutely.
Like I say, 1 day, 1 hour in jail when you're not supposed to be there from something you did not do is way too long,
right?
And it should not be happening.
Well, you know, we're all familiar with the term Occam's razor. You know, if really at the end of the day, often the simplest explanation is the right one.
All right.
All you have to look at in this case is who benefits from the disappearance of Teresa Halbach. Well, Stephen Avery doesn't benefit. And in fact, I don't think any of the Avery Dassey family benefit at all.
Not at all.
Stephen and Brendan being locked up. Now, you know, could there have been, I mean, I'll put this to you, could there have been one or two people within the family who suspected that when Stephen Avery becomes this mega rich person, that he's already told them, you know, when I'm all right, I'm not bothered about you. You know, I'm not going to help you. I'm going to keep all this money. We hear that he kind of rubbed one or two people up the wrong way when he got out of jail. That he was a bit sort of, you know, he let the celebrity status make him think he's somehow bigger than he is. You know. And he was somebody that was recognized. But honestly, do we think that somebody would be that jealous of Stephen Avery to deliberately set him up, to prevent him from getting that money, which you know, at the end of the day, even if it was a family member that I didn't like, I still want them to have that money, because I know that there's a trickle down effect whereby there's a strong likelihood that everybody is going to ultimately benefit. And that person being quite, so if it's purely down to the finances, I mean, I just can't see past, you know, who benefits most.
Yeah, I agree. Who benefits most? But, you know, we don't think like that. We don't got that kind of brain that makes us do bad things like that. So, I mean, I don't know, but people have killed other people for less than, you know, $36 million. That's for sure. So, absolutely. You know, I mean, they die over some pack of cigarettes sometimes, you know, I mean, it's ridiculous. Or a parking spot. I mean, that's real life, you know. So for me to not think that they're capable of that, well, no, I'd have to have 500 rocks short of a rock pile to not think that. You're for real.
Yep.
You got to. You have to think somebody, whoever it is, I don't know, but.
I mean, the convenience of it is just.
Right.
I mean, you would think that, let's hypothetically speaking, say that Stephen Avery was this capable, you know, he was this monster. I mean, you can't wait. I mean, it seems like to me, if he wanted to torture and murder women and he wanted to build this torture chamber and all this stuff, I mean, you wouldn't wait to make sure the county pays for what they did, and make sure you get your money before you go on this killing spree that you just can't. You have this overwhelming urge that you can't suppress.
Exactly.
I mean, no, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, Mr. Paul is right. The only people that can benefit from Teresa Halbach going missing and the convenience of it, it all points to somebody, but it doesn't point to Stephen Avery. It points to Manitowoc County.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to finish up shortly, but I just wanted to go through one or two of the comments. Kim has said, Andrew, talk about the Bambi pictures. Have you shot Bambi?
No.
I hope not. I'd have to cry right now.
I haven't been deer hunting in years. I do more fishing nowadays.
Okay. I think the Bambi refers to
Bambi, whatever.
Yeah.
What pictures? I didn't know there was any. Are you talking about that picnic pictures?
Yeah.
That is awesome. That's a farce. First.
Oh, that was so funny when I saw those. What was it? The trail, the tavern. What was it? Track trail tavern, and it was a wet t-shirt competition or something that just went completely bizarre. And you've got members of law enforcement there doing what law enforcement does.
Right.
And I mean, if it had been Stephen Avery doing that, he's sick, he's a pervert, but because it's law enforcement doing that, it's just hijinks, it's just a bit of fun,
they're just having some fun.
Yeah.
Having a few beers.
Let them have a. Oh, come on. I've just seen another one there. Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Why does this thing go so bloody quickly?
People stop writing so Paul can find it. You have to stop writing for a second so you can scroll.
I've lost it. It was there a minute ago and then it disappeared. I tell you, I'm having the right evening with technology at the moment. I had an issue at the start there where I had to reboot the computer, and it was all because I didn't realize this, but you can actually set up a StreamYard from your phone.
Yeah, I did.
But you can't then sort of make that your sort of starting point. You have to then come back to your computer. So I came back to the computer, and it didn't recognize all the stuff that I'd got all lined up. So it was, there we go. Behave yourself.
Oh, T, what a good picture. Since we're used to seeing him with ball gag or bunny ears.
Yeah.
That's the funny man. The guy's killer. I love him.
Right. Okie dokie. So anyway, I think as I was saying earlier at the start, this is just us getting ready for Mammoth-on. I'm going to get the. I mean, I'll tell you what it was. It was actually in my pocket, my bow tie, and I didn't realize. And when I found, I was going to wear my Green Bay Packers tie, and I thought, I'll tell you, I'll put the bow tie on, and then.
So what are us ladies going to have to wear? If you are all wearing bow ties, what are we going to wear? Bow ties in our hair. Maybe I'll get a tuxedo and wear a tie too.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that the practicalities of it is that I think that it's going to be much easier having, I think the dude is counted. I mean, he's supposed to be some maths experts. I don't know, but he reckons there's going to be about 12 people involved in Mammoth-on. So yes, we're just going to start practicing our what we're wearing for it. So yes, we'll look forward to a bit of Mammoth-on. Okay, so final question, just to finish up. Thoughts on, as I say, final thoughts on why the state asked for this basically this extension, and I believe they got 45 days extension. Final thoughts.
I would say that, like I stated earlier, I just believe that they realize that a lot of what Zellner has pointed out is very troubling to their case, and I think they're scrambling for, how they're going to refute what she's claiming, and what are they going to do? What's their next steps? And I'm just hoping at some point we can get to the point where we can get Zellner in front of some judges in some form or fashion, whether it's a hearing or a new trial eventually down the road, because I'm ready to get the ball rolling to see if we can see the day come where true justice is served.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of, I was chatting to Chad last night. He was saying that he and I suppose he's one of these that, there's an old saying here in the UK: he that expecteth nothing shall not be disappointed. He was saying that it wouldn't surprise him if the Court of Appeals didn't want to do anything about it, and therefore Zellner had to take it up to the Supreme Court. But I'm sure he was saying that in the hope that yes, they are going to look at it,
Right.
And if they do, my one hope would be that given that in effect the slap on the wrists that they got from poor Riley on the previous two, remand back to the circuit court, that maybe the state are actually looking at it sensibly and thinking, now what are we trying to do here? Are we trying to hold back this tidal wave that's just going to come and swamp us? Maybe they are looking at it sensibly. Any thoughts on why did Ken Kratz take down his videos, Linda?
I think because there was things in there that could have got him in some trouble.
I think so too. I wouldn't surprise me if he was told,
to
take them down.
Yeah, you're probably
Andrew,
right.
Yeah, Andrew, any thoughts on Ken Kratz taking his videos down?
Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch all of them,
But you can still watch them. You can still watch them, but they're on other channels.
Right, 64 controller.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to look into that more, because
check them out.
I was aware of one or two that's been talked about recently, but any prior to that, I wouldn't be able to comment on. But yeah, I'd definitely be interested to. What is it? Just him talking or something about different things, or speaking at events?
No, he doesn't talk at all.
Him pushing his book.
Kept putting his book.
Pushing his
very interesting. There's some things in there that shouldn't be there that he's got there, so you should check them out. And he's
I will.
Yeah,
it's worth looking at, I guess. But
any thoughts? Who's going to do the logo for Mammoth-on? I suppose that the dude could get his crayons out. But we could. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we could open it out and have people, come up with their own suggestions. Maybe run with the same one as last year, or as I say, we could maybe come up with something new. I don't know. It's
well, maybe we'll just ask Falcon again.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He's kicking around somewhere. Yeah,
I love Falcon. For a guilter, he's a really decent, respectful person. He really helped us in the last Mammoth-on, and I'm sure he would probably do it again.
Do you know? I've almost forgiven him for you know what he did just after Mammoth-on.
Yeah, I loved that. I did.
No. Hold on a sec though. He did this spoof, right? And I was completely taken in. He did this thing, and it was going to be Guiltathon.
It was great.
And I thought, Guiltathon? Well, that's going to be interesting, But it was it was all a wind up, and you know, sorry.
It was great. It was the way he went, that music, the way he turned around everything and went guilt to that. It was great. I mean, it was excellent visuals, man. The guy's got talent. You got to say he does. And he really had us going. We're all like, who's going to be his guest?
Yeah.
Oh, well, probably Ken and Ken Kratz and things like that. You know, we were all just, and then he let us in on the joke. But he's got a good sense of humor.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that was one of the thing about Ken Kratz's videos. You never, ever got to hear him say anything. It was all text, wasn't it? And then amazingly, when X-Teen put the brightness up, she must have had the brightness up. And here's that image of Anthony Porter embedded into it. You know, it's yeah.
I did see that. I did see part of that.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, just to finish off, Linda, you've
got some hidden messages.
Oh, okay, Linda, you've got an event coming up tomorrow night. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, me and Jane Sharp are going to talk about her recent visit to see Jerry Buting. And and you know, like I said, we're girls, so we'll get it all out.
Oh, okay. Andrew, have you got anything planned? I know you've done this podcast, and when do you think that's going to be up and running? Have you been given an indication?
I think next Thursday is when it's going to premiere, if I'm not mistaken.
Excellent. Anything else in the pipeline before then, or?
Not that I can speak to right now. No, sir.
No. That's. I do think what was interesting was what you said about the fact that, you know, something that hadn't even crossed my mind. If you want to attack women and you want to build a torture chamber and you want to lure people, you know, $36 million in the bank is going to be a very appropriate lure, isn't it? You know, but anyway.
Yep.
Personally, I've got a date on Sunday with Eric Jose and Magilla.
That is going to be great.
39, yeah. So
excellent.
Well, I mean, it's
great throw.
Yeah. What I think what was particularly good about it is the fact that you've got people out there that have done this research and they've realised that, big though the Reddit community is, you know, it's nice to share it with everybody else. So the more people get to hear about it, you know, the more you can get in touch with the likes of the Emily Matasics of the world and say, you know, please, you know, listen to what we're saying. You know, wake up, smell the roses. You know, smell the coffee. You know, realize that you're being, you know, that you are fed a whole load of nonsense by, you know, a disgraced district attorney, and it doesn't matter how much your readership, you know, they want to hold on to this idea that, you know, Stephen Avery, Brendan Dassey, not just them, but the whole family, you know, they're vile, you know, we don't want them. No, they didn't do what they're, you know, they simply didn't do what they were being accused of, and the reason they're being accused of it is because of this civil suit that they were just panicked into doing it, you know.
Absolutely.
And I think as well that they were quite possibly given the go ahead from higher up the food chain and told, you know, deal with it. We don't care how you do it, deal with it.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I'm not going to keep you guys any longer because I'm sure you've all got busy evenings. I'm off down to the casino, as you can see. No, I'm gonna have one more beer and then I'm going to go to bed. But I'm not going to get up terribly early in the morning. So anyway, I'd like to thank everybody for joining in on the chat. Absolutely fantastic. Andrew, keep doing what you're doing. What's your subscribership up to now? You must be
I wouldn't say that, but I mean it's definitely moving along. I think it was like 365 or something.
Excellent.
That's great. Good.
Linda, what you up to now?
800, I guess.
800. Perfect. I was a bit concerned when it got to 1,000, and I thought, well, maybe it'll sort of level off at that, but it's still growing. I think I'm like 1,070 or something like that.
I don't care if I had 10. I'd still keep on talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I appreciate everybody, so thank you very much.
Yeah. And everybody brings something to the party. So
sure do.
Whether you're Eric Jose or
or me,
yeah, or everybody out there, whether you've ever done a YouTube video. I would strongly suggest if you haven't thought about doing a YouTube video about your thoughts on making a murderer, why not?
Right.
I would definitely say to people, please do. That you know what would really, if you really want to bug a guilter, get on YouTube, do a video about it, about making a murderer, and keep talking about it, because that's the one message that Jerry keeps going on about. They're like vampires. They want to hide in the dark, and the more we shine the light on them.
Yeah.
If I can do it, anybody can do it, because I'm a shy person.
I was just going to say that I have anxiety out the window, let me tell you. But and you know something? It's a good way if your family doesn't want to listen to you. It's a good way to talk it out, because my family didn't want to hear it. So I just started talking about it.
Yep. Okie dokie. I'm going to say cheerio. If you'd like to say good night, then we'll.
Good night from them.
Good night from them. Good night.
Good night from me.
It's good night from me.
It's good night from them.
Hit the subscribe and ding the bell.
Now the line is, and if you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe. There you go. I said
right.
For once.